Hello happy gardeners, welcome back to Stinky Ditch Nursery. We got Jamesy on camera, say Jamesy.
Hello.
And today I'd like to do a little talk about ecology. With the passing away of James Lovelock earlier this year at 103, I thought I'd do a little talk about biodiversity, how complicated it is and how we really as human beings not only don't understand it, but I don't think we're capable of understanding it without some tool like mathematics or something like that. Now, James Lovelock wrote a book several years ago saying how nature was all part of one thing. It's all to do with how everything interacts with everything else. There are masses and masses of components that are all working together to create this thing called nature. We're a part of that, but we don't respect the way that this system has been working, and we ignore it at our peril. Now, to demonstrate just how complicated this situation is, I'm going to use a humble deck of cards and a little bit of maths. No, don't lose me on the maths. Don't lose me on the maths, please. It's ever so simple, but it's a beautiful and the best way that we've got so far of describing the world. And now we're starting to describe the natural world with it. We've found out in the last 20 years or so that trees communicate with each other through fungus under the ground. They pass nutrients to each other. They actually do something that could be called caring for each other. This is all new stuff, and it's stuff that James Lovelock sort of predicted that we would find out in the future, and we're finding out in the future, and this is how complicated the whole situation is. If I have just got 52 cards here, and I shuffle them like that, that is now in a unique order that has never been made before and will never be made again. Now, as human beings, we find that hard to understand. Here's a bit of maths. It's called factor. It shows you the amount of combinations that I can make with this deck of cards is 8 with 67 zeros over and past it. I don't know what number that is. It's enormous. You can sit down, James. Oh, just show people how factorial works. You can have a little play with this yourself. If you get like sort of 3 cards like that, and you work out the amount of combinations that they can be put in, we can work this out with maths. It's a factorial. Ignore the notation, but it's 3 times 1 times 2 times 1 for your 3 cards. That's the amount of combinations you can have, 6. Have a go. With 4 cards, it's 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which is 24. Have a go, mix them about. Actually test this out if you want. Once you get to 52 cards, it is this big number. And that is just with 52 different things interacting in different ways. The number is phenomenally large, and for us as human beings to get our head around it, let alone what's going on in the natural world, is almost impossible. One example that I can give you is, if I was to pick up a grain of sand somewhere on the planet and hide it, the chances of you finding it on the planet are greater than you shuffling the same combination of cards. That's how complicated this is. I'll take it one step further. I don't know, I can't get my head around this. If I was to pick out an atom, one atom, that's part of the, I don't know how many atoms that make up the whole world, it's less than this number. You would have more chance of picking out the same atom that I'd chosen than shuffling the same combination in the deck of cards. Now I'm using this as an example because we've only got 52 of these. There's just 52 of them. The natural world is unbelievably complicated. If we can't understand this, how can we begin to understand how the natural world works? We have to treat this with the utmost respect. It's been doing a good job for millions and millions of years. And if there's one thing that we know as human beings, the way that we've been doing forestry, we plant trees in lines because we think that's the right way. The way that we create monocultures with bananas and things, they create these. The biodiversity is what it's all about, and diversity within a species as well. We do not want to just produce these clones, which are the biggest potatoes that produce the biggest crop. It's going against the way that the world works. If you can't get your head around that, how are we meant to get our head around the natural world? I think the science is the answer, but most of all, I think we have to treat it with the utmost respect. As gardeners, we are custodians of the natural world. We choose what we put in our gardens. In farmland, where you see huge green fields everywhere, most of this grass will have been a grass seed that's produced and bred to have a lot of protein in it, so it goes into meat and milk and all this sort of stuff. So you're looking out there thinking it's all natural world. It's not. It's all been made up. We have to let our weeds grow in our garden. We have to let our bugs eat our plants. It's all part of the same thing. We have to appreciate this. Now, I can't finish this video without saying that our Queen died yesterday, and I must admit it's affected me emotionally a lot more than I thought it would. I don't know why, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people in the world that this has happened to. Her son, Prince Charles, now Charles III, has taken over. He is now our king. He will be doing the same thing that his mum did, I'm pretty sure. And she was quite quiet about her personal views on things. Prince Charles has not been quiet about this, and it's quite obvious where he lies on ecology. Now, I hope he goes out around the world and he rocks some boats and he makes people in power wake up and realise that this is essential for us to continue living as human beings. It really is. Anyway, this has been Robbie Phoenix with James on camera, getting far too emotional. It's because I'm coming out of the dark side, I always get a bit emotional. I'm just talking about ecology, trying to make people understand how complicated it is and how we have to treat it with so much respect. If you get a weed growing in your garden, it's growing there for a reason. It's not for us to decide. It's for nature to decide. We have to work with it, not against it. Thank you for watching.